must be wondering what I mean by saying that speaking American can help save America. We have so many problems in our country now, and we have many people who think we're on the wrong track. But there is one problem that makes all of the others impossible to solve. That's the idea that we are unable to speak to each other, and that we are unable to talk to each other about solving our problems because we're so divided. Everything is so partisan. Where do we get that idea? We get it from media figures, politicians, and maybe some people you know. But is it really true? No, it's false. Recent polls show that the majority of Americans don't like partisan conflict, and they have a very wide range of views, and they want to see us solve our problems. We are still one American family underneath. We still share many common values, like liberty or freedom. And I know from my work for the last 20 years and even beyond past that, that when we use the language that evokes our common American values, we can help ourselves by finding common ground, especially when we're talking about action. That's what I call speaking American. Now, you might have seen a television show called Do You Speak American? That's about the different kinds of ways people speak in different parts of our country. For example, some places a frying pan is a skillet. Others call a teeter-totter a seesaw, or a pail a bucket. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the language we all know, which comes to us from our heritage, our shared heritage of the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, our shared stories of our history together, which is often brought to mind by words like new or can do, or our very important metaphor, play by the rules. Altogether, all of that forms one ideal American identity story, and that story is the story of who we are when we're at our best, what we aspire to be. That's speaking American. And I'm going to give you some more examples of words like that that evoke our common values. Besides freedom, there's equal opportunity, democracy, fairness. When we think about our communities, we want them to be clean, safe, and secure. As a people, we like to think of ourselves as practical, can-do, and people who like to try new things. So those are some of the words that you can use when you're trying to find common ground with people. You'll think of others. This is not everything, of course. But you're probably thinking, well, you know, it's really pretty hard to talk to each other in this country now. We really may not be able to do it. But I have proof that it's possible. There's a group called Living Room Conversations. They bring together people with differing views using a safe and secure process, and they find that when people are able to really listen to each other in a respectful way, they can begin to understand each other's experience and views, and they can find common ground. They can begin to start talking about solutions, collaboration, and cooperation. Everyone who's tried this process is really enthusiastic about it. Everyone from a Tea Party leader to the president of a group of independent voters says the same thing. They say, we need this kind of conversation in our country now. We, the people, at the grassroots level, we can make progress if we can actually start talking to each other in this kind of way. You can do this too, anywhere you are. You can start speaking American and that will be a start. There are 2 steps to take. The first step is use the language of our common American values when you start talking. The second is to be sure that you use words that are specific, practical, and positive. Use the language of our common American values and put yourself in this living room and think about how it is in a social setting. Every word matters. And so if you use words that are vague and big and general, that's going to make trouble. So the next principle, as I said, is make our action words specific, practical, and positive. You'd probably like an example, and I'm going to give you one. There's the word regulations. That's a long, abstract, complicated word. It has a lot of negative associations. The word rules actually evokes our important common metaphor, play by the rules. And that evokes ideas of fairness and safety. And that is a word that is practical, positive, and specific. So, if we are able to follow these 2 rules, we can be the practical, can-do Americans who try new things again. We can be one people and one family again. We can get our country back on the right track. We can do this. You can do this. You can do this. We can all do this together.